And pop you over to KwaZulu-Natal because the SAPS there and the provincial government are currently giving their own media briefing on the scourge of gender-based violence in the province. In fact, a recent report by a government, you might remember, indicated that eThekwini, uMgungundlovu and King Cetshwayo districts recorded the highest number of these cases, with the top contributing police stations being Inanda in Durban and one in Pietermaritzburg. Speaking now is the Premier of the province. Let's listen in.
Alone. They require engagement that speaks directly to the hearts and minds of our people, using culture, performance and sports as powerful tools for social change. The fourth one, the campaign recognizes the critical role of taxi association, religious institutions and traditional leaders in shaping behavior, reinforcing values and mobilizing communities against GBVF. These sectors have a unique access to ordinary citizens and communicate messages of respect, accountability, and zero tolerance for abuse in ways that conventional campaigns often cannot. The fifth one, leadership is central to changing societal norms. This pillar targets policy makers, members of the legislature, councillors, regional authorities, political formations and media, inviting them to partner actively with the provincial government in confronting a GBVF, in particular the media, as the fourth estate, plays a pivotal role in shaping narrative, influencing public opinion, and amplifying the voices of survivors. By partnering with media houses, journalists and digital platforms, the campaign ensures accurate, responsible and consistent messaging reaches every corner of the province, challenging harmful stereotypes and promoting a culture of zero tolerance for violence. As the provincial government, we are committed to action every day, not just annually. We declare that violence against women and children will be confronted everywhere, every hour, every day. KwaZulu-Natal will not surrender to this scourge, and we invite the citizens of the province of KwaZulu-Natal to join hands and stand together with the government of KwaZulu-Natal in discouraging any form of violence directed to women and children. We will fight it, we will expose it, we will prevent it, we will prosecute it, and in the end, we will defeat it. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you very much, Honorable Premier, for those profound remarks. And members of the media, it's over to you. You know the drill. You introduce yourself, then you pose a question. If I can see by the show of hands, please. Mr. Makanya.
Thank you, Mr. Gena. My name is Simpiwe Makanya and I work for SABC TV News. Premier, over and above the numerous campaigns that we have seen, particularly here in the province of KwaZulu-Natal, there seems to be a problem with this scourge of GBV. What, in your view, is a contributing factor to this particular scourge? And also maybe to the acting provincial commissioner, in terms of the areas that have been cited as problematic, as we, of course, the Premier alluded to those few districts. What sort of interventions are going to be put there to ensure that this scourge is addressed?
Thank you. Do we have another hand? It seems to be only that one for now, Premier.
Well, I think in our view as government, it's a behavioral, unfortunate behavioral pattern of the males, in particular black men, because in the main, they're the ones that seems to dominate the behavior, which in our view, it could be the issue of not speaking out whenever you have some feelings which are unfortunate. Hence, we are encouraging that there must be more dialogue that will create a platform for men in particular the males, to express themselves, to be encouraged to speak out rather than to demonstrate their frustration by, in fact, making women and children victims. And also the issue of drugs and alcohol. They are also the major contributors when it comes to GBV and femicide, of which, if as a province we can be able, in fact, to have quite aggressive awareness programs that may discourage the behavior which is actually caused by the use of drugs and alcohol. And we are quite confident that the campaigns the police have to try and dismantle all the drugs sources in a way will contribute in making drugs not much available to the users, who ultimately will behave in a manner that will result to the high stats of GBV. You'll notice that during the festive season, that is where you see most of the stats, meaning that during that time people they take a lot of alcohol and some expose themselves in drugs. As a result, you find the stats increasing during that period. You can respond.
Thank you so much, Premier. Thank you so much, Makhanya. Members of the media, I wouldn't want to repeat what the Premier said, and I think the Premier has hit it on the head when he talks about the behavioral issue, when he talks about the abuse of alcohol. Those are the critical factors that we see that plays a role in the increase in GBV cases. And to emphasize the point the Premier has made about the community engagements, SAPS in the entire province of KwaZulu-Natal over the past week, we have done 41 such engagements, reaching out to the communities, because we believe that we have to reach out to those communities. We reach out to schools, and we are particularly concerned as we approach this particular festive season of the kids and where they are going to be during the holiday periods. And much of our children end up on the streets unattended to by the parents and adults who are supposed to look after them. And you'll find then when a spouse or a partner is at a tavern and an alcohol den and he goes home by the afternoon, there starts the altercation, and often the children becomes a victim of either an assault or rape in this instance. So I wouldn't want to add any more than that what the Premier has already said, but just to emphasize those points, that South African Police Services is committed to the community engagements we're doing together with the Premier, and I think you've seen that collaboration over the past couple of weeks, especially as we ran up to this particular period and to this particular briefing. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Major General. Do we have another hand? Mr. Makhanya again.
Maybe I can just use this opportunity to get a comment from the Premier with regards to the flooding that is unfortunately claimed live in Mshwazi. As the provincial government gives states of readiness in dealing with such situations.
Well, thank you, Mr. Makhanya, for that question. In fact, I was about to make a comment on the tragedy that has taken place, wherein three people went missing, and one has been recovered, but having passed on. And I have been informed that it's still sinking in the sand, they're still trying to remove the body. What is unfortunate is that the victims, they were tenants of one of the family, Ntuli's family. Unfortunately, the cottages that they were using, they were built in the bank of the river. As a result, they were washed away while they were inside the cottages. We are sending our condolences to the families that are affected and to the people of KwaZulu-Natal at large. And we are urging that our citizens must really respond to the alerts and even to our call, because we've been on record saying there is a need to relocate some buildings which are in dangerous areas, flooding areas in the banks of the river. Hence, if that had to be a call to be responded to quite urgently, maybe we might be speaking a different language, not to say we've lost lives. But our teams, led by the Department of Culture, are on the ground to work with other sectors to search for other bodies and to try and remove the body that has been discovered, and to ensure that the people are safe in that area. It's unfortunate that a number of properties were affected by this flooding, and we are hopeful to receive the report before the end of today as to the quantification of the extent of the damage that actually took place during these floods. We are encouraging our people to continue to be on alert. As the rains continue, they must really be on alert. They must listen quite well to those who are giving alerts, such as the weather service authorities and even the municipalities and government departments. They must pay attention to the alerts that are actually given, so that we will not lose more lives going forward, while also encouraging municipalities in the issue of the stormwater drainage systems. That is important that they urgently try to repair and maintain the stormwater drainage system, so that there will be no problem even during the floods that will cause the loss of property and the loss of lives.
Thank you, Honourable Premier. If we can have it in isiZulu, please, Honourable.
Well, uyathokoza kakhulu usuku lanamhlanje njengohulumeni wesifunda saKwaZulu-Natal sibone ukuthi asimemezele umkhankaso wethu wensuku.
It's 10:30 on the dot. You've been listening there to Thamsanqa Ntuli, the Premier of KwaZulu-Natal, who's spoken about two important issues in our country, the scourge of gender-based violence for one, and of course the widespread flooding we're seeing in parts of KwaZulu-Natal. Insofar as the former is concerned, he has emphasized the importance of partnering with the media in order to amplify their campaign around KwaZulu-Natal's push against the scourge of gender-based violence. And this is important because KZN is home to some police stations which have seen a very high number of these cases, areas including eThekwini, uMgungundlovu, King Cetshwayo districts being highlighted as some of those red zones, so to speak. And he's also spoken about the main contributing factors, which I imagine you would have guessed, issues to do with alcohol and drug abuse. But we've also taken an opportunity to engage the Premier on the flooding in KwaZulu-Natal, where we now know one person has died, two other people are still missing in the Umshwati region. These are live pictures for you, by the way, of that ongoing search and recovery effort, which began in the early hours of this morning and is likely to continue amidst difficult conditions, we're told, given just how fast the waters are moving in the river that you're not able to see now, but also given the fact that there's more rain, we're told, predicted in the coming days. The Premier has spoken about supporting the teams that you're seeing on your screen to be able to continue with their work. He's once again amplified those calls for residents not to build their homes along floodplains because, as you would have guessed, this is the circumstance in this particular case. These residents, we're told, which we now understand were tenants, renting out a property which was close to a place where a river once flowed, I beg your pardon, and had been dried up for some time. He's also, the Premier, spoken about the need to clear out storm water drains, which, them being clogging up are a big contributing factor to waters not essentially ending up where they need to, which is near the ocean. So we'll keep a very close eye, by the way, on that ongoing search and recovery effort. Once again, if you've just joined us, a body has been recovered and 2 people are still missing.